about some of the things that, I mean, with your interaction with patients, has come up with respect to what causes depression.
Yeah.
If you just go a little bit over it and then we add something to it.
Okay. So depression, as you know, is just a low mood. It's just characterized by low mood. And it's something that actually is experienced by many, many people. In fact, currently, we know about over 264 million people actually are living with depression.
264?
Over 264
Worldwide.
million worldwide. So it's a big deal of a condition. And many people I have interacted with over the years in my clinic who have this that they don't know anyway, because it is mostly characterized by serious mood, issues, and also unshakable sadness that comes to the person, and they don't even know why. So depression is horrible and terrible, but it's also something that one can say is very common these days. The people I've interviewed normally, who have actually the depression, normally comes with, situations which have occurred in the past, traumatic situations, physical abuse, etc., etc. And then we also see some of the causes are neurotransmitters, brain chemistry. Yeah. So chemistry is also an important part of depression. And then the almighty stress, which actually is also a challenge that the human brain actually, need to live up to or to face up to. And, if we had time, I'll explain the processes that stress can actually, why stress can actually lead to this, because we have a lot of axes that actually help to deal with stress, and we call them stress response cycle. And these processes involve a lot of chemistry, brain chemistry, neurotransmitters, and activities that actually help us to be able to connect from one side of the brain to the other. So sometimes it gets to a point where the mind or the brain, those centers actually become gobbled up. They are not able to actually communicate. And they don't communicate also very well because the neurotransmitters such as what we call the serotonin, the dopamine, and also something called GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. All these things actually play an important role in the way we can actually think. Let me put it that way. And the way we can actually also remember things, memory. And all these things can also be gobbled up. So stress can be a factor and a major factor in causing, depression, because when stress comes to us and we are unable to deal with it and it becomes a chronic situation, it actually causes a lot of chemical mess within the entire body and the brain as well. So it starts affecting especially where stress becomes chronic, it actually starts affecting the way the neurotransmitters that I mentioned before actually behaves. So the way so the more stress actually continues, it can lead to, what we're talking about here, depression. And one thing you should know, if someone has depression, in fact, it's very serious because they can be suicidal. They can feel like they just don't love to live anymore. Hopelessness is one word for it. And also, they are always down. It can even lead to what we call bipolar. Bipolar is also a form of, it's a mental disorder, and it's also a form of mood disorder as well. But the bipolar, the difference with the ordinary depression, I say ordinary because, bipolar is bi. It has two sides, bi-directional. It goes this way, it goes that way. So sometimes with bipolar depression or form of depression, we say the patient may have their highs and lows, the hyper and the hypo mood issues, and they may also have so the other side is the mania. So you could be with a person right now, the person may be in good mood, may be smiling, and the next minute, you could, so sometimes I feel sorry for our patients with mental health disorders, even though I deal a lot with so many physical symptoms of patients. I also deal with psychological and also psychosomatic symptoms, which is now something that has become an important part of my research and study, because I know that we are going to a point in life where most people are going to actually cross the boundary from sane to insane.
But Doc, is it true that people say depression is more prevalent in women than men?
It's not true.
Okay.
Even though, things like bipolar is more common, rather.
In women
than men, yes. But depression itself, like I said, depression is just one thing about mood. You see, so when it comes to mood, it's neither a man or a woman. It's just about the same thing. So, yes, we research has shown that the bipolar normally goes with women on a high level. Yeah. But stress is actually with everyone.
But why should the bipolar be more in women than the men? I mean,
sometimes we don't actually, it's still, all these things are coming up. You see, once upon a time, the medical world didn't really put much emphasis on the study of these kind of stuff, because we see people, even here in Ghana, you see people who start showing signs and symptoms of, mental health disorders. And people start saying things, oh, where they were about them. You see, where they were about them, but it may actually mean that the person is actually going crazy. But we don't take it seriously because, it's not, then they do that. But it is more serious than what people think it is. Yeah, because you see, it's all over the place. And I said it once upon a time somewhere that there are more, many are actually, what do you say? Many are.
Okay.
Many are mad.
Many are mad, but few
are
not. Exactly. So many are mad, but few are not on the streets. Yeah. Because, you can get depressed very easily. You can get depressed, but these are things you can see when you are actually going into depression. You see signs like you are very, very much low most of the time in terms of your mood. You begin to, you can't even sleep sometimes. It does affect because there's chemistry as well, because it's not just an ordinary psychological thing. There's a biological twist to it, and that is where people begin to sort of feel like they just don't want to live anymore. They just don't feel like eating anymore. And so what we see here is you see many people on the streets who started like what we are talking about here. Most people actually start this way, simple ways. I'm not happy. It could be a marriage, a very bad marriage, a bad relationship, whereby somebody is being depressed and suppressed and compressed by the partner, and nothing is done about it, especially here in Africa, where marriage is actually seen as something, well, it is sacred, of course, we go to the church and all that, but it is also something that we see that it is just, it should be long-lasting and nobody should break it, because what God has put together, no man put asunder. But I think that there is more to it psychologically. I will tell a patient who is going through any stress or any unnecessary, difficulties and depression in marriage, to just find the next exit point and go.
Okay, Doc.
Because you will live.
We would have loved to have a...
I would have said a lot. I really wish I had come there.
We'll do this some other time again.
We have to. We have to.
That was Dr.
At least
Richard
now
Egan.
I know your ways now. I can just drive around.
Dr. Richard Egan is a medical doctor based in the UK.
And also a global health scientist.
Global health scientist also helping us understand depression this morning.